No,
Yep.
so we're gonna talk about a few things here because uh everybody's outraged about the twerking video. I thought it was funny. I thought it's just that it's like,
You-
and as I said in my video, are you surprised that a snake bites?
I see your point, but I think the issue becomes, doing something like that. We know she's capable of doing these kinds of things, but it's like taking it constantly to a place that is so disrespectful constantly, and the royal family not doing anything about it. I think that's where a lot of the outrage has been around. No action has been taken for behaving like this. Yeah, a snake bites, but what do you do to control it from biting? What do you do to prohibit it from always inflicting harm? There's more to just her twerking. There's a lot of things behind that need to be reeled in, and it's not happening.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that, and you know what really bothers me, Pat, is that we still to this day have so-called royal experts saying that the king cannot take away the titles and that it's only parliament, in spite of the fact that parliament has already responded that all honors and the petitions, remember the petitions that parliament has responded that all
Mhm.
honors and everything is up to the monarch, that they have nothing to do with that.
Mhm.
Parliament has responded. I mean, I can bring it up again. I have no problem. So I don't understand what people are saying that the king can't strip and people say, oh, it would be unseemly. So what is more unseemly? What we're witnessing right now, or Harry and Meghan not being in the royal website? Now, I want to make something very, very clear here. Meghan Markle is not calling herself the Duchess. The monarchy is calling her the Duchess. The press is calling her the Duchess. The king has authorized her to call herself the Duchess.
Mhm.
And that's why she keeps calling herself the Duchess, because she is entitled to do so. Not only that, the queen, it was not a it was not a negotiation when the queen said you can't use the HRH. It was the queen was not asking them. It was a queen's order. It was put in paper. It says that you cannot use the royal titles, and you cannot use the royal HRH. Period.
Mhm. Right.
Hi, to me.
Hi, to me.
Oh, can
But
you
people
guys
make it seem
can
like,
you hear
oh,
me?
Yes,
they
we can
came
hear
to
you.
an
Hear you.
agreement. They said that they came to an agreement. No, the queen didn't agree anything. The queen said you cannot use the HRH titles, styles. Those are not titles. Those are styles.
Mhm.
She didn't
Mhm.
say private or when you know. You are not allowed to use them, which is what has been happening with the passports. Because Meghan and Harry can't, the kids can have HRH in the American passports, right? So they tried to get passports in the UK. But because the Queen issued a statement, an order saying that they're not allowed to use the HRH, they're not allowed to use them, period. So Harry and Meghan were insisting that both kids get the prince and princess and HRH in the things in the passport,
Mhm.
and they didn't get it in the very end, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And they were blaming the king for
Hmm. Well, there's just a lot, and I think part of it is also the press not doing their due diligence to see this through, like really investigating things that they should be investigating. I think we need to have answers, and the answers aren't coming. And in the meantime, Megan is just out there prancing around, acting, you know, doing what she wants to do essentially, whether it's twerking or, putting out these pictures and using her brand to, you know, try to make her money the way she wants with having this title. There's just a lot that's happening that it's like everyone is just looking the other way and nobody's paying attention to what's happening. Thank you, Lizzie B.
Well, the
Thank you.
problem that I and the problem that I have is this. If you
Hmm.
notice, and I'm not tooting my own horn, This whole panic with the kids started when I reported the birth area code.
Mhm.
Okay, I did my video, and then Dan picked it up and he showcased it. And Dan clearly has a much larger platform. He used to work for newspaper reporters and stuff like that for newspapers. So once he reported on it, it became more mainstream media. You know what I mean, Pat? Because
Mhm. Yeah.
like
Well.
for example, okay, he's not in the level of Joe Rogan, but I mean he's clearly more mainstream media. So one that doubt was there. First of all, you were going through the documentation that you have about the names that should be in the birth certificate of the parents. And you said that you read it that it has to be the names given at birth. This is why Meghan appears as Rachel Meghan Markle.
Mhm.
No birth
Mhm.
certificate in the United States would allow the first and last name of a father to be titles.
Right. No, you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, in America, we have regular people. Yeah, there's people who have titles, but I'm pretty sure that Donald Trump's passport, for example, doesn't say President of the United States as his name. It's literally Donald John Trump would be his name on the passport. It doesn't matter what the
Mhm.
title is. You're still, because anybody can hold the title the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I could be the Duchess of Sussex if the king gave
Mhm.
it to me, right? You could be
Mhm.
the Duchess of Sussex. It could be anybody. So you cannot use a title, Princess of Wales, as a title. It's not, that's not that's like using the term CEO. It doesn't make sense because
Mhm.
that title can be bestowed upon anybody. So you have to use your literal name. That is your birth name or your name by marriage, whatever name is on your legal documents. You have to use
Mhm.
that name.
That's what you have to use. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
That's how it goes.
yeah.
But I think also Liz Jones writing her article talking about, show proof, I think is a step forward, right? Trying to get,
Well, no, she was trolling us. She was saying it
well,
was
she
kind of
did,
like
but it's a
that we
step
were a
forward.
bunch of trolls and all kinds of things. That how
Wait,
dare you tell the Duchess?
I need some context. Who is Liz Jones and what is this show
Well,
She's
so
proof?
a
go ahead and
reporter.
explain it, Paula.
She's a
Mhm.
reporter from the for the Daily Mail. She writes columns. So she said that we were being trolling Meghan Markle with this fantasist. What you might call it? This is after what's his name? Dan wouldn't publish my thing, right? Did the
Mhm,
video, and it's gotten almost 700,000 views on his platform.
mhm.
So a lot of people have seen it.
I mean,
So
the thing is that okay, everybody's allowed to have the opinion that they want to have, and the thing is, for example, it's like sugar babies. I'm just going to use this example. Just because I would never sleep with a man for money, that doesn't mean somebody else wouldn't do the same thing, right? So just because you would actually get pregnant the natural way or IVF and carry your children to term and you would not pay for a surrogate, that doesn't mean other people don't pay for surrogates. Just because you would not fake a pregnancy doesn't mean other people would not fake a pregnancy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think the thing is that the thing that keeps humanity going is giving birth, right? Pregnancy and motherhood. And it's sort of like a sacred topic, right? And mothers are venerated like the Virgin Mary, right? So when you ever even bring up the idea of somebody um, possibly faking a pregnancy, people get really upset because they're like, how dare you? Because they themselves wouldn't do that. You
Mm.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
Number one, guys, yo, in my TV, my TV is not on. Someone said to turn off the TV and raise my volume. There's no TV on. Number two, turn up my volume. There's an echo. Do you guys hear an echo when I talk, or do you not
I
hear
I
it?
don't hear echo. Are you able to
Okay,
maybe just turn your volume up a little bit, maybe?
okay. Because also I'm wearing AirPods, so like there's that going on. So
Oh,
um,
okay.
yeah, there's no TV in the background. I don't have a TV on in the background.
Okay.
Yeah.
mm. Well, the thing for
Okay.
me
Yeah.
is that so Liz Jones was basically trolling, saying that the people like me, basically. And again, guys, that is not my information that I presented. That is basically the government's website information that I presented. Okay. This is
Right.
people saying, oh, Paula is lying. I did not go and make that website. I did not go and get, like those are emails I get directly. I call directly, I show the numbers. I am only presenting my investigation. If people
Hmm.
have went as far as suggesting that I made up those birth certificates. I didn't. I grabbed them, I downloaded them from the Sun, from the Telegraph, from the Daily Mail. They're all pretty much the same, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, yeah, people are going to say a bunch of things, and you know the truth. You know what you've done. So if they can't see that it's a real website, then you know.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like her manic thing started. I think it got kickstarted. It kickstarted with this thing about the birth certificate, because this is something serious. We're not. This is not about whether she has a moon bump or not. These are documents that needed to be verified before including these children in the line of succession.
So it's curious to me that the king or the monarchy in general just doesn't verify something like that. I think that needs to be questioned. Why do you not make it so that they have to provide
It
legitimate
is.
document?
They're
Well,
supposed
but
to do that.
yeah, but they're not enforcing it. They're not
They're the
making
only ones
a
in the
requirement.
history of the monarchy that have not provided proof, because before, if you know, I don't know if you know this, the court used to watch the birth.
Yeah,
Right.
all over Europe, it was always a
It
thing
used to
where
be
every
watched.
royal woman,
They
yeah, had to watch. It's not just the doctors. It would be like literally even the king's cousins, the king's aunts, uncles, all the
Everything.
highest
and
royals in the kingdom would sit there and watch the princesses give birth and the
give
queens
birth,
give birth
and to watch
because
marriages be consummated.
yeah, and you'd watch
Oh
them
yeah.
have sex on the
Can
wedding
you
night. Yeah,
imagine
because yes,
the
because
pressure?
well, I mean, at least they had like a canopy thing around the bed. But yeah, you'd have to literally watch that because, and there was a time where women would have their wedding sheets put up on the breakfast, and breakfast the next day they'd hang up the sheets and be like, yeah, she was a virgin. You know what I mean? So like there
Yeah,
used to be extreme I love history. I love women and corsets and royal history. There used to be a lot of pressure because they
yeah.
had to prove that yes, this woman was number one, what she said she was. Um, and it was, I think it was Her Majesty the late Queen who was the first one to be like stop the public birthing stuff. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and it's all to make sure that things are legitimate because again the story goes is that there was a woman who was a queen once upon a time and her baby passed and then she snuck a baby through the window,
It's
Mm-hmm.
so that's
precedent.
why
It's like
yeah,
where they pee, they would put
Yeah.
them in.
yeah, so that's why they had to do the thing where they're like, okay, well, the king's doctors have to watch the birth and certify that yes, this baby is the actual real baby, like that's the real
Yeah.
baby, you know. And again, it's all about the line of succession because if I steal a baby from the woods or something and say, oh, this is the prince, this child that nobody even knows is now the king of the country because I lied,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know.
Right.
So
And that's
it's
why it's so important. I don't
yeah,
understand why they don't make it a requirement to show
I
It
people.
mean,
was up until
it was,
1948.
But
but
yeah, but not now. It's like they get people making is just doing
Yeah,
whatever
but it
he
wasn't
wants.
yeah,
understanding. It
no,
wasn't. Let me show you something,
I'm
guys.
gonna
Here, let me
let
show
me
you something.
I'm gonna address a comment really quick. Someone said
Okay.
Michelle Henley said times have changed. They don't watch women actually give birth now. That was hundreds of years ago. They go to a hospital now. We know that.
We
That's
know.
why we're
Yeah.
talking about this. The point is that the royal, you literally have a king and a queen or a prince and a princess who get married and their child becomes the ruler of the country, right? Even though we don't have like absolute monarchies like we used to, still the tradition and the reason why you're supposed to watch them give birth, yeah, the doctors are supposed to sign on the, even me being born, the doctors are literally present when my mother gave birth, right? And my
Yeah.
father was there, and you have the parents sign the birth certificate to certify that these people who are my parents are who they say they are, right? That's the whole point. That's literally the point. So it's like, even if we're not having 100 people watch you give birth, you, even today there's no such thing as, oh, I, that's why people started going to the hospital, because before people used to give birth at home and you could have 16 children and not account for them, and then they didn't have to go to school. We started to register kids who were
Mm-hmm.
born for a specific reason. So even now, your Michelle, your parents and the doctors in the hospital saw you being brought into the world and signed the birth certificate because to legitimize you as a person. You're not a John Doe baby. To
Right.
certify that yes, your birthday is the day that your parents said it was, right? Because people can just lie. They can say you're not Michelle Henley. They can say you're Roberta Smith, and that you were born on December 2nd instead of May 12th, and they could just make it up. But the reason why we have doctors even give literally make sure you're born all right is so that they can say, okay, yes, you are who you say you are. This is the paper that establishes we were all there and you were born at 4:25 in the morning. So hello, that's the reason why.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I still don't understand why, in a weird sense, it's like people are still trying to defend this. Why is it that for 1,000 years, every single woman who gave birth in the royal family of any royal family until Meghan Markle had doctors sign the birth certificate, the birth announcement, and say yes, this person was born of the mother's body. That's the
Right.
rule. That's
That's the
literally
rule.
that's the rule.
Yeah.
And why do they not enforce it? And
Yeah.
why
Th-
is it
you
so
know what, Pat?
difficult to get
Why
a
is it that with
document?
That has been what my channel has been
yeah,
all about.
why is it that with every single other woman they enforced it except with her?
You're
Princess
right.
Anne, Zara Tyndall, even if you didn't have an easel outside of the hospital, every single royal woman has had the yes, this is legitimate, da 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 da. But with hers, oh, I'm not gonna let these men in gray suits be around me. I have my own doctors, and
Well, then
I
don't
have my
marry into the royal family.
yeah,
You don't want to
exactly,
adhere to these things. Why are you marrying into the royal family?
exactly where you know that that's the rule. You know
Right.
that that's the rule. If you don't want that, don't be there. Literally, just don't.
Yeah, it's not right. And I think people need to make Megan accountable, because when she's not made accountable, you get her doing the things like she did with this video being published on her Instagram. You
Hmm.
get a lot of things that are embarrassing and, quite frankly, does not make the monarchy look good.
And the crazy part about it is, I mean, I know you guys probably didn't listen to Archetypes, but I listened to it when it came out. And there was an episode where she was talking with, I believe, uh, the the girl that she said, I think it's so funny you keep calling me Markle's from
Um,
Sussex,
m-
right?
uh,
Her,
Mindy
Mindy
Kaling.
Kaling, and some other people, and they talked on the topic of surrogacy. And Megan's comment was, who cares how your children are born? It shouldn't matter. Okay, then why don't you say if allegedly the children were born via surrogate? Yes, Harry and I, do you know how monumental, because she always talks about modernizing the monarchy. Do you know how monumental it would have been for her to say, yes, I'm a new member of the family and I have fertility issues and
Right.
I want my kids to be born via surrogacy. That would have been life changing, just like, oh, the first biracial, yeah, yeah, yeah. That would have actually been a topic of discussion where she, oh, let's shine a light, let's shine, that would have
Yeah.
actually shown a light on women with fertility issues and how even women in places of royalty have those issues. And
Right.
yes, they wouldn't have been prince and princess, but there could have been an amendment or something, or a parliament could have voted on, okay, our Archie and Lily, which are the worst names in royal history, been
Yeah.
like, would they have been amended to make them prince and princess? That would have been monumental. And she would have been like, wow, I still was honest and open, and I still got what I wanted, which is a prince and princess
Exactly.
title. Or they, even if they were Lady Lily Mountbatten Windsor and Lord Archie Mountbatten Windsor, that still would have been a big deal. It
Hmm.
still would have been a big deal. Like, it still would have been a big deal, even if they were born via IVF, whatever. But this shady secrecy, twerking, it just shows that this whole, oh, I'm so classy, is fake and it's an act. And I'm not saying if you twerk, you're a scum bucket. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that, like, you're a whole duchess. Imagine Melania Trump uploading a video like that, or
Right.
somebody, Michelle Obama. But I mean, Michelle Obama is losing her mind and saying that if she was single, she'd be sleeping at a white man's house.
She said
She's
what?
she said if she was single that she would be have a sleepover at the founder of Airbnb's house.
Oh,
She
really?
said that on a podcast like 2 weeks ago.
Why?
She's losing her mind, bro. She's losing it.
By the way,
Yeah.
thank you, George the Giant Slayer. I sent you the link in case you want to join us, sweetie. No, but the thing is that I don't know if people know this, but in 2013, Parliament actually they just I'm sharing right now, guys. This is what the Duchess of Cambridge, okay? This is
Mhm.
Kensington Palace. This is when she gave birth to Louis, I believe, right? You can
Mhm.
see that the Duke of Cambridge was present for the birth, and
Mhm.
then they were informed, right? And then note to editors: the medical staff and support were Mr. Guy Thorpe, that is the doctors, the royal gynecologist, Mr. And they have all the names. They have all the
Mhm.
names. And then not only that, but on the Royal Gazette, they went and they showed the entire staff. And on top of that, guys, in 2013, I don't know if people in the United Kingdom remember this. In 2013, it was passed, they amended the Marriage Act again, where they allowed same sex marriage. So Parliament had to go into a discussion how that would impact the Royal Marriages Act. Because you see, the clause is royal marriages says heirs of the body. A marriage is a royal marriage for the purposes of establishing the claim of any person to succeed to the crown as heir to the body if that marriage is a marriage between a man and a woman. A
Mm-hmm.
disqualified from succeeding to the crown as an heir to the body of a royal marriage if they're not the offspring of both parties to that marriage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, this section does not apply in any case where both houses of parliament pass a resolution to the effect. So basically, they were saying that even though the Marriages Act they were allowing same-sex marriage. This did not apply to the royal marriages. So they still had to come here, and they go. My concern arises from the security of the 17th century term, heir of the body, the
So
governing right
basically,
and the
so
right to
basically,
succession.
George cannot be gay. Like he cannot marry a man and then have children who are in the line of succession because he's a man and a man cannot give birth to a child. So if, basically, if George was gay, for example, Prince George, if Prince George was gay and he married a man, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if he
But
married a man, where would the baby come from, basically, to even be an heir to the throne? They couldn't have a baby the natural way because a man and a man cannot have a baby. And so it cannot, the gay marriages thing cannot include royal marriages because you need a vaginal birth of a woman who is your wife as a man to basically have an heir to the throne.
I mean, the interesting part of this, guys, is I'm going to leave the link because you guys have to read it. This is the entire debate they had in Parliament because it's very illuminating. They even said, for example, Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth was lawfully married to Prince Philip, right? So
Mhm.
let's say Prince Philip couldn't produce children, right?
Mhm.
So if Queen Elizabeth had children from another man, still the children would not have been entitled to be in the line of succession because they would have not been the result of the couple.
of the husband.
Tells
Yes.
all of
Yeah.
this, guys. I mean, they go into great detail of what it means, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
But that Paula,
this,
that makes sense because in history, I don't know if I can say the B word, but bastard children could not be heirs to the throne.
they cannot.
They could never, even if a king had 14 illegitimate children, it doesn't matter if he had 14 sons. If they were not born of the king and queen, they could not inherit the throne ever in any way. You can make him a duke over there, but he can never be the king.
Okay. So how was that changed with Elizabeth the First? She was a bastard child.
That's a great question.
No, 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 no. She
No,
technically
she
wasn't a bastard.
she
No, no, no,
no,
no,
she
no,
was
Pat.
born
No, no, no.
within the marriage
She
of
wasn't a bastard
Anne
child
Boleyn.
because she was legitimately married to Anne
Yeah,
Boleyn.
to Anne Boleyn. She was just a
Well,
daughter.
which one of the children was the illegitimate? He had a couple.
No, no, no. Depending on what you look. First, you see with Henry, what he did is like rather than kill them, he divorced them, right?
Yeah.
And then he ended up killing her. But when Elizabeth the First was born, she was born legitimately. He
Yes.
was married
He was
to
his,
Anne Boleyn. It
which
was just when Queen Mary came to power that she said, "Well, you're a bastard now." You know, but then people said,
Well,
"No,
because
because
it was
Queen Mary was born with the first wife
yeah,
before the divorce.
right.
The
Yeah.
Spanish Queen."
Yeah. Catherine of Aragon.
Yeah, mhm.
Yeah.
So none of the children, basically he just got rid of the wives to have the
Yes.
children,
And all
but
the
all the
children were
children were
legitimate.
born
Yes.
with him being
Legitimately.
married.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Whereas like there's one of Queen Charlotte's sons had a bunch of illegitimate kids with all these women all over London. And like okay, everyone is saying they can't hear me, but every time I wear my AirPods, like I don't want to like can you hear me now?
Better.
Like the commercial. But
Mhm.
if y'all remember that commercial, but wait, there was one of Queen Charlotte's sons who had a bunch of illegitimate kids somewhere, but didn't have any legitimate children. So there was like a whole succession crisis because some of the kids who were born legitimately died, or the wife died, or something like that. So it was like, who is going to inherit the throne because we have all of these bastard grandchildren, basically.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
and one of the things that I mean, we are gonna watch a little video, and we're gonna look at the latest Lily bed thing that Meghan Markle posted with Harry. Now, people keep forgetting that this is not Harry's page. This is Meghan Markle's crazy page,
He's
right?
not a part of it. He's not
No,
anywhere
now, yeah, the
complicit
thing
in
is,
this.
he doesn't. Yes, and there was a story. I don't know if you guys remember the Beckham story. I was the only one who said that is a lie, and you too, Pidina. You said it's a lie. The Brooklyn Beckham has never been invited by Meghan Markle because my source told me that was absolute horseshit, and that they have never been invited to Montecito to talk about toxic families because this came out the next day. Princess Catherine was seen wearing a Victoria Beckham thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lie. I spoke to my source. That is a lie. The very next day, and the one who reported this was apparently I don't know who it was, but I think it was
Richard Eden.
he's gotten two stories wrong right now. And then he said that that it was Montecito, and then I said that's absolute horseshit. That is not true. And then and I stand by that because my source is impeccable and has been proven to be true. The very next day, the story changed. It wasn't that they had hosted them intimately in Montecito. It was that they had a group and that Brooklyn had crashed the event with Nicola. The third day, and what did I say in my video, guys? I said in my video, that's not true. It's the Robbins who had Tracy Robbins, the Paramount CEO, that they had a get together, and the third day, the story changed that indeed Harry and Meghan Markle had gone to the Robins, their friends from Paramount, and that Brooklyn and Nicola were there. But yet, people don't pick on that. They're still going with the first version of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Pick on the third day, the story changed completely. The same thing came out with the lady Spencer, or the Spencer changed a last name. Harry may be a moron, but he's not stupid. The first Duke of Sussex, his wife and children were not in the his children were not in the line of succession nor were entitled to use the titles because they married without the monarch's approval. So when he died, because both times he got married, both time he married without the monarch's approval. So
Mm-hmm.
the kids that were born of that union were not in the line of succession and did not enjoy the titles. So when he died, the titles reverted back to the crown. That was in 1801 that he got the first Duke of Sussex made. And then the Queen in 2018, which is really, yeah, 1801, 2018. Well, anyways. So Harry cannot change. And I've done many videos when Meghan proclaimed herself the Duchess of Meghan Sussex. She can call herself whatever she wants. She can call herself Meghan Markle, the Queen of England, but she cannot change the name of the member of the royal family because only the monarch can do that.
So if she
And
wanted to call herself like what Harry and them did when they were in school, Wales as the last name, it has to be proved by the monarch.
but the thing is that they never claimed that that was their last name, Pat.
Well, but they
They
did
said that
have it
they
on
used
their
it
clothing.
informally because they did
Yeah.
not want to be addressed as their Royal Highness. But I don't understand why people are saying that they used it as a last name, as an official last name. They never did.
The kids
It
do
was an
though. I heard it
informal way. It was
right.
yeah, it was an informal way for them not to be called all the time as Royal Highness. For example, Prince Andrew and Prince Charles, while they were in the Navy or whatever the hell it was, they didn't use a last name. They wanted to be called Prince Charles and Prince Andrew.
Okay, well, what about Williams kids? Aren't Williams kids going
They were
by
Cambridges informally, but
right?
officially in the official documentation in school, there were
Yeah.
the Royal Highness says Prince George, you
Okay.
know, of Wales of Cambridge, because depending on they were of Cambridge. It's not that they were George Cambridge. Is of Cambridge because his father was the Duke of Cambridge.
Right. So you're saying they use it informally. Megan's trying to make it official, like formally her last name. So that's
Yeah,
the difference.
yeah. She was claiming
Okay.
that they can't change it. I'm gonna show you guys this. I mean, I think this is gonna be. And I did a video about this. Okay.
And
Uh,
also, the thing is, we've never heard William or Catherine say, "I'm Catherine Cambridge." That's the
Never.
thing. The way that
Yeah.
Megan said it, it was like snappy. It's so funny you keep calling me Markle, because I'm Sussex now. You know, I'm Sussex now. And the thing is,
Right.
like, sharing a last name with your children is just so. Why would you announce them as Archie, Harrison, Mountbatten, Windsor, which is a hideous, hideous name. Literally, that name, when I heard their names, I thought it was a joke because I thought it would be something cool like Alexander. Alexander Henry sounds even better. Like, that sounds more regal. Like, you're literally naming a child Archie, like Archibald, like,
Yeah, well, that's the code name
yeah,
for
for Prince, yeah,
for
Prince
George,
George,
Prince
yeah.
George.
But
Yeah, which
still, it's a hideous name. It's a
Okay, I'm
hideous name.
showing you guys something here. This
for
is the
me.
United States
Oh,
because
Yeah.
the Prince William and Catherine, when they were the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, they registered the trademark, the Royal Foundation, right?
Uh-huh.
Listen to what it look at, read what it says here. Name, portrait, consent. The name, portraits, and or signature shown in the mark identifies His Royal Highness William Arthur Philip Louis Mountbatten Windsor, the Duke of Cambridge, and Her Royal Highness Catherine Elizabeth. What is the last name there? Mountbatten Windsor, the Duchess of Cambridge, whose
Yeah.
consent to register is made of record.
Yeah, so that we know that's their formal name, right? So they just
Mm.
use it informally when they do it for school purposes.
No, well, not really even for school purposes. It's just, like if they need to use something just to make it easy, don't go His Royal Highness Prince George, of Cambridge. You know what I mean?
Well,
Just
that's what I'm saying for school purposes. So like when he's in school, they wanted to have we you just said it was
so
informal.
it's kind of like a
Yeah, for
nickname
so not
vibes.
from thing like formal. It's
Yeah,
just
but
like
not like Megan. I'm Megan Sussex now. No, you're not Megan Sussex because then
yeah.
you're eliminating your husband's
So,
title, which you're using. You're
but
Megan of Sussex.
but no, but is it like, okay, like George Cambridge or George Wales? It's like you don't want the kid to go to school and say, "Hi, my name is His Royal Highness Prince George
Of Wales,
of
yeah.
Wales." It's awkward.
right.
So like, just, hey guys, this is George. We all
Yeah,
know who he
exactly.
is, right? But this is
Exactly.
George.
That's about
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
even in an interview
Mhm.
that William gave with Harry, they both said, I know that it's not done and we're the first ones to do it because they were the first ones to do it.
Mhm.
Because Prince Andrew and Prince Charles, well, they were like Prince Charles, Royal Highnesses, but we
Mhm.
just didn't want to be called Prince. We just wanted to blend in. So we said, our father is the Prince of Wales. So we decided to call ourselves Wales.
Wells,
Mhm.
right. Okay, so let's look at what my friend, lovely friend Michelle is saying. Thanks, Michelle, for your super sticker, your chat, super chat. She goes, well, Elizabeth the First was Henry and Anne's daughter, right? Okay, so thank you, Michelle. That's right. So, Mary was the first one, right? I mean,
Yes,
Aragon, right? She was the
yes, yes,
first one, and then
yes.
Anne Boleyn. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, Michelle.
And
Um.
I'm gonna show you guys this, for example, here, because we're gonna look into the video, guys. We're gonna look into a few pictures and stuff like that because there's quite a few things. I want to show you something here, very interesting. Look at Meghan Markle's face, how white it is compared to her body.
And did you notice her ear is missing? Where's her ear?
Oh yeah, her ear is gone, by the way. And look at the
Uh,
kid's hand.
well, yeah, I was looking at that hand. Why is the hand like that? It looks awfully
And look at
weird.
her index finger is half an inch shorter than it should be. And remember how she said in her podcast that she never got swollen or anything, that everything
Yeah.
went to her stomach. But look, usually the face is darker than the rest of the body because your face is exposed to the sun, right?
Mhm.
But here
Mhm.
her face is absolutely white, no ears. The hand of this kid, I have no idea what the hell's going on there, guys, to tell you the
And
truth.
also, I mean, I've seen women who get swollen while pregnant, their fingers swell up and they can't wear their rings. So I've seen them wear them as like necklaces until the
Mhm.
baby's born and the swelling goes down. But Megan was skinny in her arms, legs. Well, upper arm, she gained a little bit of weight, okay? But that could happen to anybody.
Mhm.
Fingers, she wore her rings the whole time. There was not one time we saw her without her rings. So she cannot say that, oh, I swelled up so bad, and she presented Archie, let's say Archie, for example, 3 days after he was born, however long that was, I don't remember, but yeah, she had the rings on in the photo, right, of the
Yeah.
baby call outside of where they presented the shawl.
No, this is interesting, this photo, because it really shows the difference between the two hands.
You can see the index finger. If all the fingers swell, then they all swell evenly, but they don't grow in size, guys, in length. This is, I showed it to my friend Marinesa. Those are completely different hands. Even the nails, for example, they're not the same. The shape of the nails and how short they are. You have a length in your nails and stuff that it goes. But she says the index finger, the index finger is almost half an inch uh, smaller
Okay, so let me ask you this. What would be the purpose of photoshopping a different hand in this photo?
because she's not there. Oh, there's George the Giant Slayer!
How
Yay!
you doing?
Hi, George.
Hi,
How
Vidina.
are you,
Hi.
gorgeous? What have
Uh,
you been making of all of this craziness?
I usually take, how I usually take like a week or two to build my videos, but I stayed up for like 30 hours because once it came out, I was like, I just have to do one to address this. For years, I've stayed out of this kind of pregnancy controversy because
Mhm,
I always thought, and I fought with family and friends, and I mean, they were like, this is fake, this is fake. And I was like, look, if we break it down logically, if this pregnancy was fake, then I always thought two things. Either the crown, they know they have MI5, MI6, they know what's up, they know the truth,
mhm,
and they would either use it as some type of tool, a vehicle to control them, to be like, shut up, pipe down,
mhm.
or this is going to leak, or this is going to come out. We're going to claim a scandal. So that was one of the things I always thought that it couldn't possibly be. But after I saw that video,
Mhm.
and I
What's
was in
your
the
take on
medical field for 20 years before I started YouTube, 25 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when
You
I
are?
saw, yeah, and when
Mhm.
I saw that video, I was like, wait a minute. I mean, I've been around a lot of pregnant women, I've been in delivery rooms, and I was watching everything. And I'm like, so what did I actually see here? Okay, I saw a God complex in a black moo twerking to a bad rap beat with a bouncing a fake baby belly. And
Mhm.
I'm sitting here going, it moved like it was its own entity, like its own sentient being. It's moving up and down, and she's moving side to side. And I'm like, this isn't the Hollywood man hopper. It looked literally to me like a wannabe casting couch queen. It's like, this is what you do.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
I wasn't.
And
definitely, yeah.
even the weird part is when she showed someone, I think it was you, Paula, someone posted the original baby mama trim. But that woman, her stomach dropped. Like I've never seen a pregnant belly basically come out of your ribs. I've never been pregnant, but I've never
Yeah.
seen a pregnant belly come out of your ribs basically right under the boobs and just be sitting high. Or but was as the baby comes, gravity's catching up with the baby because the baby's ready to come out and the stomach gets lower. Like look at that. I
Yeah.
showed that to my brother too, who has no thoughts about Meghan Markle ever, and he's like, "Why is the belly pointy?"
Yeah. And why
He's
is it so high? Yeah.
he's like, "The belly is pointy." He's like, "What? Why is the belly pointy?"
I think this. We haven't met. I'm George.
Hi George, I've seen your videos before on To
Oh,
Me. I
oh,
used to
to
be
me.
I used to be a Meghan Markle fan back in the days. It's a long story. Yeah, that's a whole nother
I
story.
got well. It's great to meet you. To me,
Good to
yeah. The
meet you
thing for
too.
me is besides the fact. Then I thought, you know what? There are lines that people cross in life, and then there are lines, and I'm like, in this last 6 weeks, we've had the Megans cross every line. I mean, this is like
Yeah.
past the Rubicon. You had Harry, like we talked about last week, where he basically said the royal family wanted him and his wife and his kids dead. And now you have this trash. It's like trailer
Mhm.
park trash.
And
Hell, I know some
it's
people
funny.
who like,
It's funny because in the they had three Lifetime movies based on them, and then the last one, Meghan and Harry escaping the palace, the one of I think is one of Meghan's friends that she went to school with had a hand in making the movie somehow, whether she was a producer
Really?
or something. So I've
Okay.
heard that she basically worked with Lifetime to produce the movie. So I've heard, allegedly, let me just say allegedly. And the
Okay.
very first scene of the movie was the car accident in Paris, but then when Harry gets closer, it's not Megan. It's not his mother. It's Megan, and he's like
Yeah.
having these nightmares of. Uh, he's having these nightmares of Megan dying the same way that Diana did, and like. If you guys ever watch the Lifetime movies, it's so funny. We should do like a reaction where we all just
You
sit there and,
that
and
would be
react to the
great.
Lifetime movies because I watched them back when I was a Megan fan. But by the time I got to Megan and Harry escaping the palace, it was like that was after they released it right before the Oprah interview, or right around the time of the Oprah interview, which is kind of crazy that they work so fast. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot. It was just a lot.
I mean, just look
But
at the
George, what do you
cannula.
make of all of this? That she's
But
allowed to wear the jewelry and that she's wearing
Right.
the IV so super high because
I
I
I
gave birth and
totally
I didn't do that. And
Mm,
you work in
yeah,
the medical field. Can
right.
you give us your expert opinion on that?
Right.
Whatever
Well,
that
I'm
is.
not an expert. I managed medical facilities, but when you're around something for 25 years, the first point that I realized was, besides the jewelry, besides there's no monitors, besides there's no staff visible, you're talking about this should be mid 2021 California. Where are the COVID protocols? Do you see a mask anywhere in the room?
no.
I've seen videos. I knew people, they were forced to wear them. There was no choice. It didn't matter who you were, celebrity or it just didn't matter. Then there's the cannula, where the cannula is placed, the way she's bending her wrist, if it's real, it would keep blocking the fluids. Again, you're talking about a baby
mm,
bump where I've seen jellyfish that have more jiggle than that jello padding because of the fact that the way it's positioned and the way she's moving. There are other videos of the same song where they're twerking, and you can see where the women are having trouble. Like they're doing it because the doctor told them, you need to move around a little bit so we can induce labor.
yeah.
But you see when they move, they wince, or they're like, "Oh my
Hmm.
back," or it's like
Hmm.
they're trying and their movements are slower. But then we get to the preeclampsia, right? Even if how she said she had postmodern preeclampsia, the symptoms would be there before. You're talking about headache, high blood pressure, nausea, dizziness, vomiting. Oh, and the big one, that one little thing we all need, trouble breathing. Air.
Mm,
Does she look like that? That she's having any trouble?
never.
That's why I
Yeah.
say what they did this week. If Harry was my son, I swear to God, I would demand a DNA test to prove he was mine. Or I'd ask the doctor, did you drop this fool on his head? I mean, because there is no, this was done for future merchandising. So what that tells me is they have a whole lineup of this. They've got an entire catalog
You
waiting to
know,
just unload it.
George, it's funny you say that because when Finding Freedom came out, there was a line in it about how Megan basically had recorded everything all the time. So I always believed that the stuff we saw on Netflix was the tip of the iceberg. That I honestly, and even influencers do this, they batch film. They'll change outfits 5 times in a day if they have to, just to get different shots, and then just keep uploading them as if they're taking photos every week. But they took all of those last Wednesday. So I
Hmm.
honestly believe that there's a whole catalog, and Megan is obsessed with us. And like every time we say something, she has to clap back. And it's funny, Paula, because you said it. How long have we been talking about the kids? For so long? And she said, I'm not gonna.
I brought up the COVID thing in a video I did like 2 days ago, and everybody attacked me because I said,
But
and not
even
only that, I took it upon myself and I sent you the screenshot, Pat, of who I talked to at the Santa Barbara cottage, because you see, these two stupid are stupid morons. Because just less than 2 months prior, we saw the Queen sitting alone in the pews burying her husband because there was a limit of how many people could be. We all forgotten because times again, guys. It's 24 hours time notice. It really is 24 hours. People forget that COVID was in 2021 and even in February 2022, Santa
yep,
Barbara. This is what Santa Barbara Cottage, and I called him, and the gentleman that I spoke to said that this video did not happen in 2021. And they've been getting calls from a lot of parents who were there around that time saying, how could they? Because even their spouses were not allowed to be there. And when they did, they had to be there and wear hazmat, like almost like suit, like wearing like they were going
Yeah.
to space, because it's not only protection for them, but protection for everybody else.
yep,
If you leave, I mean, and they sent me this thing and they said that to help, you need to have the mask at all times, to cover your mouth and nose, even in the room,
yeah.
and
Even
Yeah.
I mean,
they tell
I
you
was
that wearing a mask is a requirement to maintain visitor privileges.
yeah,
Yeah, this was in
I was
Texas.
on a flight in 2022 to New York, and I still had to wear a mask.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was in
So
Texas. Like this wasn't a red state where you could, excuse me, this wasn't a red state where they allowed you to do what you wanted. You had people again who couldn't go to you couldn't have a wedding, couldn't go to a funeral. You couldn't have people in the delivery room. That's why I don't care who they are. The state of California was draconian. They enforced it unless you were the governor, of course, and you went to the French Laundry and ate however you wanted. But
Hmm.
there's no way they could do this. So I believe the only thing left for them. That's why they put out that ridiculous Disney video, because they saw the damage. I'm starting to have the feeling that I kind of hinted to last week, that they have that new, Megan has that new chief of staff. I'm wondering, there's I thought there's three possibilities with this video. Either A, you got a pissed off staff member who recently got Megan and just
Yeah.
shot a missile out to take out the Montecito manipulators, and they just went for it to claim credit so they wouldn't have the media roast them, one scandal on top of the other. Or the chief of staff might have said, look, you cannot sell yourselves as good people, as relatable human beings. You can't. It doesn't
You
work.
can't do it.
And so
Right.
I'm almost wondering, and it's hard because they're narcissists. So I'm almost wondering if there's a possibility that they didn't say, it's time you embrace the role that you have in the public image of being, the wicked witch
Yeah.
of the West Coast,
No,
and you
I
being
think
the bad guy.
I think Megan just had one too many glasses of wine,
Could
in
be.
my opinion, and just went loose because I honestly think she's the type of person that when the cameras are off, she's like ranting and raving about
I
us.
agree.
And like, I cannot believe these people think I didn't carry my child. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Fuck them. I'm just gonna show them who I am. Boop. And then
Yeah.
boom. And what are
Yeah.
we gonna do? Like, yeah, we're gonna talk about it, but then she's getting high off the narc supply of, oh, they're talking about me sort of vibes.
I see
But
that.
yeah,
I
I just
agree
think
with
that
that.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if she posted it herself and thought, yeah, I ate that. But like,
But the thing is, though, that this is not good for her brand in the sense that nobody that is a premium brand is going to want to work with that. And I
Right.
just wanted to show you guys this because apparently this is Archie. Apparently this is in Disneyland. Apparently this little boy has only these pairs of shoes because these are the ones that he wears in every photo with this same coat, with the same pair of pants, but it's always the same pair of shoes. And this little girl here has different hair than the one that she had before. I mean, but poor kid, always the same black shoes with the white sole.
I never noticed
Where is
that.
Doria?
It's a
Where is
good
Doria?
pitch. Yeah, I think she's a
yeah,
persona non grata lately.
why did they go to Disney with Marcus and Daniel? That's so random.
So are they supposed to be just like their extended family members? Did she go with bodyguards? Like, why would you,
Well, it
I
was
don't.
Marcus Anderson
And
and
was it that one bodyguard, the one that's bald, that's always with Harry?
that's the one that got the award medal from the Queen
Yeah,
for that was awarded, and then he retired just to go to move his entire family to go guard Harry.
yeah. So they're always with these people, and I guess Marcus is still around, right? I mean, I
Oh
thought
yeah,
he
he's
was
behind
gone.
it in that ride. I'll show it. I'll show you the picture later.
And
But
Daniel, the makeup artist who is living in New York but somehow always in California.
The
Yeah.
makeup artist, the
Yeah.
one who's like, yeah, I know. It's just, I mean, what are they going to do next week? At some
the
point,
sex
I
tape.
feel
We're gonna see a sex
well,
tape.
sex tape is coming. That's a guarantee. That will be their final card. But at some point, I expect that we're going to get a video where you got Megan's legs wide open and a close-up shot of Gold Digger Inc. as they pop out some plastic Rosemary's Baby wearing a
Uh,
Spotify onesie. I mean,
okay, so hold on, George. Wait a minute. Let's just go right back.
yeah.
So you said there's going to be a sex tape that you know that's going to come out. You
This
know it's going to come out.
I'm
This
99%
woman
because
is evolving.
it's the only play they have, because you have to think narcissist, right? Megalomaniac, a malignant narcissist, wants to succeed at all costs. At some point, she has to take a step back, even to reflect on her own goals.
But what did she get out of a sex tape? That's
Money.
so.
What happened to look at Kim Kardashian? She went from a
But
nobody, a
And
but
socialite.
like,
by the way,
but
Kevin Blatt was in my channel when, well, but it was another sex tape with a photographer that was pitched to him at the beginning of 2016 because he's the one that was sued by Paris Hilton, and she won. And then Kris Jenner approached him to leak what's it called it Kim Kardashian's
And
famous sex tape, and then while he was thinking about it, she rushed to somebody else and he leaked it. But he had Meghan Markle's tape, and he said like It's not an allegedly, and he might still have the tape, and
Oh,
but it wasn't
that's
with Harry. But then when she got engaged to Harry, then they frantically, the report, the photographer that had was in the sex tape phoned him, and he hadn't phoned him in years, and says, please just don't do that, and can you send it back to the lady in Toronto, because apparently it was a businesswoman in Toronto who got the tape. And he says, I've seen it. Kevin Blatt is a fixer in Hollywood. That's what he does. I
oh,
mean,
okay. So George, have you seen the tape?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
no, no. I'm saying I don't know that one exists. I'm saying when you follow the trajectory of everything they've done and the
Oh,
way that they're
okay.
and that the way they're unspooling, it's the only thing left, especially with the people. When you followed Megan as long as all we have, the people that she looks up to, the people that she high fives.
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing? The people that she high fives, you're talking about the Kim Kardashians. She even had once to Paris Hilton. You're looking at how does she achieve her goals? Okay, she uses her royal titles in order to merch. She's using her kids now, slowly drawing them out as props and products. So she
Yeah.
releases this, the world blows up, and they go, look at how trashy it is. So when
But
you get
I
to that
think
level, all she wants at the end is attention and money.
Mm-hmm.
That what else you gonna
Attention
do?
and money.
but
Okay.
she's
Okay.
going,
I see you're
that would be
saying.
going backwards because, for example, Kim and Paris were young and hot. They were
Right.
in their 20s. They were
are
living
you
in
Yeah,
implying that
Sussex.
this is not
No,
hot? Are
I
you
no,
agree
implying
with
that this
you.
is
no,
not hot?
listen,
How
I
listen.
dare
agree
you?
with
Just
you. I don't think
hear
it'll
me.
be a
No,
new one.
just hear me out. Like
Yeah.
the so-called sex tape route is the way to go when you haven't really hit your peak in your career yet. It's not something Mariah Carey would do at the age of like 48 or however old
Right.
Mariah Carey is.
No, no, no.
No,
But you
no shade to
forget
her.
something. You forget something to me. Sorry to interrupt you.
Mhm.
Meghan Markle released this little thing here to show the world that even pregnant, she's sexy.
But she's
See,
not.
I see. I
But
don't
she does.
believe.
Okay.
You
I
can't tell
agree with
her that.
you.
You can't tell her that because in her mind she's beautiful. There's nobody hotter than she is. Like
Mhm.
she said in that Jamie Kern Lima, that man loves me. He will do anything for me because she's that hot, that sexy.
Right.
Mm.
I don't. I agree with Toomey. I do not believe that it will be a sex tape from now. To me, I think this will
Mhm.
be something from several years ago.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
much
That's
think
better
they're making.
than
I don't
yeah.
think they're making one. I
Okay.
think they've made one. Like most of the
Yeah.
time, people you throw in drugs, half wit,
Yeah.
and a user like her, even someone who wants to have it
So like
under her
I
pillow.
I think that like even
okay.
I because even with the whole New York City car chase nonsense and
Yeah.
all that, it's like they're still trying to get IPP status and that didn't work a
Mhm.
hundred times. So now they either people think they're either gonna stage a kidnapping
Right.
of the one of the kids or like someone tried to or whatever. Even when they first moved here and they said, oh, they had to call the cops on Christmas because somebody was on their lawn and all those stories that were never really like verified. And then even the whole, oh, people are trying to break into Megan's house. And if you watch the very first Lifetime movie about Meghan Markle, it is just insane. It's like they had like 300 cameramen outside, and Doria could barely even get into the house because there was so much paparazzi outside.
Mm.
Like if Melania Trump was living in a shack or something like that. Like it was just insanity.
100%
Um,
agree.
and
100%
so
agree.
it's like the only thing that they can do to get IPP or any sort of protection, right? Because Harry is saying, oh, my daddy wants us dead like Diana. So now they need to have a real incident that seems more real than the New York City car chase with like friggin' Tom Cruise level stunts
Right.
on a
And
highway
That
or
was a good
something.
movie, by the way. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
no, it's
yeah.
a good movie. Or they need to have a leaked tape of Megan back in the days
Right.
of, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was objectified because she's always clapping back. So she's, oh, I was objectified on Deal or No Deal, but everybody else, like Claudia Jordan and other women, were like, I don't remember it that way, and you were our co-star, and I don't remember it that way. Recollections may vary, so she needs to prove her point. The prove it game. She needs to play the prove it game in a way that's believable. So, like you said, Georgia, if they release a tape,
someone
then it's,
stole it.
oh, my privacy was
Right.
hacked and infringed on, and the kids or whatever, and
Okay,
she
but do
needs to
you
come.
think that Harry would agree with that? Because Harry, I don't think Harry would be mortified. I
Okay,
mean, and
there
look
was
at
a
this little girl.
let
Look
me
at
let
this
me.
little girl. I'm sorry. When you are a little girl and you go to Disneyland for your birthday, you always want to dress like a little princess or some crap like that. I know because I have a lot of nieces, and I mean, it was a nightmare, especially for your birthday. Look at this little girl, unkempt hair. I don't know what the hell she's wearing, without shoes. She looks homeless.
It looks
Uh,
like pajamas. It
you
looks
know,
like a pajamas. Yeah.
everybody else
Right.
is not wearing pajamas, and it's like, where is she wearing like a princess little dress or anything like that? Because
Okay, guys,
Yeah.
give me
they're
one
going
second.
to
I'll be right
Disneyland.
back. Okay, I'll be right back. Hold on.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but
Okay.
Georgia, but the thing is though that we're talking here, guys. I was just, I mean, this is like next level insanity for me. This is next level insanity what we're witnessing, and now apparently, she said, Did you guys read that article that she might be sued for $10 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
For the recipe. It was because the
The
fact is
recipe.
her lawyer, yeah, the recipe. Her lawyer, when he
Hmm.
responded to that, actually got it wrong medically because Epsom salt is not what does it. It's the very fact that the oils. We talked about it, I think, 3 weeks
Isn't this really
ago,
crazy?
all of
Yeah.
us with Manuela, and I was
Yeah.
Isn't this
looking
really
into that, and I
crazy?
was talking to a doctor that I know. He's like, the Epsom salt's not going to do that because you have flotation tanks that I've gone to for my knee because I used to play a lot of sports, right? And they use 800 pounds of Epsom salt right in there
Oh
so
wow.
you can float. So I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't it. This is because she didn't tell people how much
Right.
lavender oil or was it lavender? I think it was. Yeah, to put
Yeah.
in there.
It's the arnica. Apparently, it's the arnica. Sorry if my mic is a bit too loud. It's the arnica. Apparently, that is the issue. The arnica, when it mixes with the oils and stuff like that, we can burn you, especially. And they didn't give any disclaimer, did they, George?
No, they didn't. And that's why I say it's like we've mentioned before. The fact is Ted Sarandos can say all he wants about how he can leak the fact that he views her as the rock star of Netflix. Why is her show, none of its recipes are represented in any of the Netflix Bites restaurants?
Yeah.
It
That
isn't.
is a
If that's your star, Pete, I know why isn't her recipes on there?
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes to the level of commitment they have in her and her branding. I mean, they have said that they are a passive partnership. And I think that passive partnership doesn't include doing a lot of things that they would normally do with regular partnerships. Megan tries to make it sound as if this is really engaged, high level partnership that's going to yield some amazing things. But I think they're just kind of looking and experimenting and not really invested in this partnership with Megan. They're just trying to test some things out. Otherwise, yeah, they would be selling and doing a lot more with the products because there's money to be made there. But why aren't they? It's very curious to
It's the
me.
very first time that I see somebody whose product, according to her, sold so quickly, and yet she's trying to become financially independent and a billionaire, and yet is not restocking or anything like that. And I want to show you this, guys, because I want to hear your opinion. This is Meghan Markle and Prince Harry dedicating summer to bonding as a family. She's making a big effort, but the part that really gets to me is that is this Meghan Mark is 43, is making a big effort to prop up Harry, 40 right now, and remind him that he's got all he needs with her and the kids, their beautiful life in
That
America.
is
What
so
do you think
from Megan.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
Megan writing.
but why would she need to remind him? Is it because they're in trouble?
Yeah,
You
because he
don't need
doesn't
to
want to
remind
be
somebody they're
there. He doesn't want to be there. I just have to remind him, Harry, everything you need is right here in California. It's so beautiful. She's talking to this man like he is a child and putting this in the news like he needs to reckon that, look, this is news now. So this is your new reality. It's terrible how she's manipulating this man and he's allowing it. I mean, I can only imagine what happens behind this closed doors where, we don't see like where we don't see like the real conversations around how Harry's feeling and what she's trying to do.
well, George, can you imagine? You're a man. If you're happily married, if we're all happily married, first, do you think your husband would need or wife would need to make an effort to remind you that you're happy?
No, yeah, you don't look when you're in love. You're in love. When
Right.
you're happy. Everybody sees it. You don't walk around. There's a relative in our family, and the individual's not watching. I know, but for
Those
for
Philippines.
it's a Greek relative, and
I like.
Mhm.
they're married to someone for a very long time, and it's been kind of like a running joke. It's sad, but in a way, it's a running joke. It's not similar. His spouse is very good, very kind, but the fact is every day on Facebook, every day without fail, there's at least 4 or 5 photos. I don't care if it's look what we had for dinner to walking, but it's like, look how in love, nothing changed. And it's every, I'm like, Jesus, how could it change 24 hours ago? You just told me the same thing. And 48
Right.
hours ago was the same. And I'm like, when somebody does that, I was like, you're not in love.
Yep.
You're
You're,
not, because you don't need to say that.
yep. You're trying to prove something to yourself. That's why you do it.
Right.
It says a lot about the relationship.
Not Meghan Markle's ass. The one with the jeans, with the blue jeans, is her ass. The one with the white jeans is not her. She's even much wider. And if I make the picture shorter, I mean, the thing is that this woman, from what I understand, from what my sources tell me, Harry spends most of his time in New York with the kids. She doesn't have the kids all the time, but I mean, my source so far has not let me down. You know that thing about the lady Spencer, that the Spencer last name? Now, but
Hmm.
I said that is not true. My source told me that is not true. And actually, Harry was really angry because Harry's not stupid. He knows that if he changes his last name, he's out of the succession line. That's it. Because he's disobeying, he's going against the monarch. So
Hmm.
now Richard Eden, who wrote the story, now posted a tweet saying, "Well, this is really weird that now they're denying that Harry ever said that
Well,
Right.
because it's
this
Meghan
is
who wants to be Lady Spencer, not
this
Harry.
is
Harry's not stupid."
okay. So this is interesting. Honesty and truth. Thank you for your super chat. She's saying she is taunting the royal family. Megan, I'm assuming. Yeah. Most of us know that the pregnancies are false. Allegedly, she and H are totally bonkers. They need to be ignored. They do not have kids in their care. So what do you say about that? Thank you, honesty and truth.
Honesty and truth is always spot on.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying, I mean, I hear people say that they don't have, there's no kids. I hear that they don't, well, Megan doesn't have her kids. I don't know. What do you think about that? I mean, in
I think
terms
there are
of,
kids. I think there are children. I think there are
okay.
children. The only thing I question is how come with Ben Affleck, right? Ben
Hmm.
Affleck probably at least once or twice a month, you can probably open up any celebrity magazine and you'll see him. Here's Ben Affleck walking his kids to out of an ice cream shop or to a movie theater or to school or to sports, any one of the celebrities with kids.
Hmm.
How come after all this time with all the paparazzi, all the ones who want to make big bucks, where is the one shot driving to school, getting out of school, going to dinner, going to lunch, going to
Hmm.
pick up a toy, going anywhere?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. They say that, and I believe that they're not even in like a school that you physically go to.
Yeah, they probably have tutors that come to the house or
And
something.
yeah, and also there's issues with the birth certificates, I think, that prevent Megan from even getting the kids. I mean, I know that's something we talked about, Paula, getting the kids even registered in school.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of issues around that are very suspect. Yeah, you want, why don't you see those pictures?
See, I
You
mean, you
don't
know how
see
much
them.
money that would be worth to paparazzi?
Yeah,
A
yeah.
picture, a
See, and,
snap
and
of,
the rest. Let's not forget that the residents of Montecito say they've never seen them with the children.
right.
Yeah,
And
that
this
is
is one
true.
of the things that people don't get. Look at this kid; looks so uncomfortable without and for Harry, whose mother died because she wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Pretty much, they were in the cab without a seatbelt. Megan is going around with Archie without a seatbelt. Now they're going without any, and this is mandatory in the state of California. If a child is on a boat, they have to have a life vest.
Yeah, and Harry did the same thing with Lily. Yeah, no life vest.
You know,
So
and this kid looks so uncomfortable. I mean, this kid does not look happy. I mean,
yeah.
unless I'm misreading it, but I don't think this kid looks happy. Meghan Markle looks happy. It's all about Meghan
Can
Markle.
I share my honest opinion?
Yes.
No.
Hmm.
Um, don't crucify me if some people in the comments are very sensitive, but I just feel like it's all fake. I feel like there's no kids. I feel like they have child actors that they just basically rent out and they just hang out with the child actors. That's just my opinion.
Really, what makes
Um,
you think that to me?
because everything is so bizarre. Everything is so bizarre, and it's like even when you see the kids, every picture is a different height, height by length by width of the kid.
Yeah.
Like the bump, the changing bump, the ever changing bump. It's the ever changing children. One time, there's times where Archie and Lily look like twins. There's times where they don't. There's times where she looks older than him. the everything, the way that they talk about kids does not give parents. It's like, yeah,
Mm.
Lily was reading a book and she saw me and she said, Mommy, I see me in you and you in me. Like, that's just
Nobody
literally,
says that.
what are you talking about? What are you even talking about? Like, it's not like a kid who says, Oh, Mommy, I look like you and
Yeah,
Daddy. Like, Daddy, you look more like my brother and I look more like my mommy. That's where the kid's brain says, not Mommy, I see me in
exactly.
you and I'm a mirror to you. Some weird narcissistic stuff. Oh, the
Mm.
little ones will listen. What kind of and there are these stories. Oh, Archie and Lily, they went and got a Christmas tree. You mean to tell me with all, like you guys said, all of the, we've seen Gigi Hadid's kids, Ben Affleck's kids, the Kardashian little boys, the kids, all the Jenner kids, all of them
Yeah.
going anywhere. And you mean to tell me that even Michael Jackson, we knew he was dressing the kids up in masks, but we saw them. So how Britney Spears' kids driving with the kids on the lap. So you mean to tell me that Prince Harry is only photographed when he is walking down the street with a water bottle? But and when he's with Megan, he's only photographed when he wants to be. That's not how fame works. It doesn't work that way. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Even Catherine and William were photographed with the kids in France, I think, where when they went skiing recently. So it's like something is just wrong, and it's they cannot be on some super stealth. We smuggled the kids out the back door in a decoy car vibes of like extreme high clearance families, because they're just not, that's not who they are. Like, they're not, you know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm.
Unless the kids don't even live in Montecito and live somewhere else, and we never see them because they don't even go to school in Montecito. They literally live somewhere else and are living under another identity. And Archie and Lily are not even their real names, or they've, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because
Yeah,
if
yeah.
the only thing that would make sense, if there are kids, if the level of secrecy is if they had tutors who came to the school and everything was shipped to them and the kids never went outside like Boo Radley, or Archie and Lily are not even their real names. Those are fake names that they gave them, and they registered them at the school under different names, and they live in a different house and are taken to school by the nannies. And Meghan and Harry only see them on the weekends because how is it that we never see them anywhere
Right.
ever
I
outside? It
I
doesn't
think
make sense.
yeah, I see your point. I think there are kids only because of the fact that we've heard even from the UK, they've always talked about how many times they've only seen Archie or Lily
But
once.
who has seen them though? Who's
Right, right.
actually seen them?
Right. What I'm saying is this is again how Megan always gets caught, and Harry with their hypocrisy, with their lies, because she said to, was it to Jamie Kern Lima, how she in that video clip where, what her day is like. She gets up at 6 a.m. and she doesn't always meditate and da da da. Either she takes the kids to school or the nanny takes them to school. So I'm like, either they're at home or they're at school. And I was looking up how many schools are in the area. It was a week ago for another research for a video. And there are several private schools, I think, within a 20-mile area. But again, anywhere they go, forget school. Cool. Let's say they have tutors and she lied about it. Could you imagine? I
Mm.
mean, that life would be horrible because the kids would never leave the home. But still,
Yeah.
at some point, they're going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
They're
But they
going to
haven't
go.
gone anywhere in 5 years where
I know, but
we've
that's
never
that's
seen
the
them
part.
together as a family in
That's the
5 years.
part. That's the
Yeah.
part that gets me is because the fact that either paparazzi don't care anymore, which is very hard to believe, or I mean, when they went, what was it, a year ago when they did the July the 4th, where we saw a shot of their back
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
they
But
walked over.
we even saw them up front at the other July 4th parade,
Hmm.
where Harry had some random little redhead girl with red shoes on and a blue dress or whatever.
Yeah.
But even so, like, nobody ever gets videos of them walking anywhere, leaving,
Right. I
going
know.
anywhere. There's nothing in the motion. And even when they were filming all that stuff for Netflix, we get it that there was COVID, but paparazzi was still in LA in COVID
Correct.
shooting celebrities. Like what's his name? Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello would go on these walks and like holding random empty cups of they'd like walk to the mailbox, and
So,
paparazzi were there every day.
so
So
I wanna. Yeah, that's a good point. I wanted to just say thank you to the super chat for our Irene Delport. She's saying no way after routine treatment of enema you will you will dare to dance as wild as this. And that's a good point. I think, Paula, I think you mentioned something about that with her
Yeah,
having
like
that.
I spoke to the hospital and I sent you
Yeah.
and actually when you were doing your live, remember that I got that phone call back from the Santa Barbara cottage
Yeah.
because the person that I spoke to the day before said I wasn't there that day when they came to the Santa Barbara cottage asking permission to go in the room because they wanted to film something and they said it was something sentimental. But I will have the person who was there that day and arranged it to call you back. And
Right.
this person did, which is a doctor.
Hmm.
So and they said that they're fielding that these are the words that he used and the things. And this is me, guys, being pregnant. I was that's the day I gave birth to Hendrik. That's my
Hmm.
belly at 8 months. My legs were swollen. Uh,
And you look smaller than Megan here.
oh
And
yeah,
you're
yeah,
and you're taller than her.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm 5'8", about 5'7" and a half, 8. You know, almost between that. But
Yeah.
I mean, and I was guys, I was playing volleyball. I was doing weights with my dad. But I can tell you that if any pregnant woman you sneeze and you pee, you cough, you pee. Okay,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
I mean, it is something that unfortunately it's something that it is. We can't, you know, you have a baby in your bladder, you know, like it's there and if you hop and jump, more likely something's gonna come out, you know. That's those are those are facts of life, you
Yeah,
know.
that's life. I mean, and Megan just seems to be someone that just does stuff as a regular woman trying to look pregnant. It doesn't seem believable. There's just like a feeling, isn't there? Is there just like a gut reaction to it when you see it that it just doesn't feel authentic? And
No, but the
that's
thing
how
is,
I feel about
you
her.
and I were talking about this, and I was saying like because I talked to the doctor, and the doctor said to me that, oh, this is what I wanted. This is what they said that back then during COVID, they were avoiding at all cost keeping patients like pregnant mothers, right?
Hmm.
For a long periods of time. Like their max would be 8 hours if there was a natural birth and stuff like that, and they were sent home, you know, after they checked
Right.
everything, right?
You
And
had to
then they
get
would
in and
do
out.
follow-up visits at home because they didn't want them at the hospital. So
Right.
they said that if she had come and she was already past due, this is what they said that they would have done. She would have been given intravenous oxytocin. Is that how you pronounce it? The
Mhm.
amniotic membrane would have been torn to induce cramping. The amniotic sac would have been ruptured, or a balloon catheter would have been used. Even with a wireless monitor, she would still be bedridden in pain unless she asked for an epidural.
Right.
Hmm.
And then with an epidural, she's not
So
moving.
No.
exactly. Because
Hmm.
they said that their thing it was to get them out as fast as possible, that especially during COVID, it was for the safety of the staff. Just in Santa Barbara alone, they got 16,755 cases of COVID. And the
Yeah.
staff there, this is what they sent me the guidelines. They didn't open the cafeteria, and bringing in food was very limited. So Harry's saying that he sent for his bodyguards to get food from outside. They wouldn't have allowed it in. It's just
Hmm.
to prevent it because unless George, you've worked there, you know how, for example, when you take some cancer treatments that they have to burn your immune system, they isolate you in these special rooms that no microbes can come in because then you know your immune system is fried and you cannot catch anything.
Right. They
But
have
Hmm.
you. Yeah.
Meghan Markle and Harry were not in that. The door was opening in and out. The ventilation system is shared throughout the entire
Yeah.
hospital. Why
Right.
masks? And this is why they're really angry because they're saying that they are now fielding because people are want them to sue, want to sue the hospital because they. I couldn't even have my husband. We saw guys, kids who cancer or with other illnesses whose parents they couldn't even come and see them.
Yeah.
And people are saying, "Oh, well, they made exception." No, no staff is gonna, especially Harry and Meghan. And you know what's so funny? People were saying, "I don't understand why nobody would recognize Harry and Meghan in California." Pat, you were saying that because they're not important. You know, they really are nobodies.
Most
You know what?
But
Americans
there
don't know them.
But between all the people that watch this, I can't imagine that not one person saw them or has recognized them either when they went to the parade, when they went to Disneyland. Um, there's been a couple places else that they've gone to. I'm trying to think. I mean, it just never, like, it's never happened.
I just don't think they're that important to most Americans.
Exactly.
It's a very
Exactly.
select group. I mean, how many times have we seen where they call like taking the camera on the street where they ask people who's the president, who's your, and
Yeah.
they like are naming people from 100 years ago or someone that like most people don't pay attention to such things unless they're on social media or
Yeah.
they love films or they love celebrity.
I
It's
got to
just
do a man on the street
yeah,
video.
man on the street. I've been thinking about that for a while. It's a
What
Now,
is
great
where are
that
you
place.
man on
at,
the street?
George?
What is that
Where are
man on
you?
the
Me,
street?
I'm in Texas.
Oh, okay, you're in Texas. Okay, yeah. So I'm in Ohio. Tell me,
Oh
where are
wow.
you?
I'm in Oregon, right above California.
Yeah,
Oh
we
I
should
mean,
wow.
do a man
look
on the
at this
street in
picture.
our
Look at this
states.
picture. Look at this picture, guys. This is Megan supposedly on April 22nd. She's outdoors and she's wearing a mask.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Right
Right.
around was that Prince Louis' birthday?
Oh, that's about when that she was going to be giving birth, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
About
She's
two
wearing,
So,
months.
thank you, Michelle, for your super sticker. Thank you.
and I think I showed a video that somebody I got a hold of
Mhm.
Prince William when they were filmed. I think in 1993. And you
Okay.
remember that nice email I got, Pat, that I shared with you?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Even in the darkness, they recognize Princess Diana. Here it is, guys. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but I'm gonna mute it because here, this video, and I got a very nice email because nobody knew that this thing existed. And I
Mhm.
didn't understand when I first saw it. I'm like, what am I looking at? Right. And then you
Yeah.
see that, right? You're looking at this, you don't know what the hell you guys are looking at, right? Just like me, right? And then you're going to see something here. Guess who's there? That's Princess Diana, Prince William. This is in 1993.
At Disneyland.
Hmm. And
Yep.
this is the family. The family were on top of the balcony, right? And you see Princess Diana sitting there, and then they get Prince William on stage, and he's very shy
Mhm.
and all kinds of things. Nobody had seen this, but you can see that even in the darkness, they recognize Princess Diana and
Yeah.
William,
And you know
which
it's interesting because the head of animation at my college, he actually saw Princess Diana when she came to Disney because they had an animation studio over there, and he was there and he got to see the kids, and
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, so it's it's to me it's so bizarre and so sad also how the kids do not interact like kids with a parent, right? I
No.
think
Mhm.
Royal Grift made a video about last night or 2 days ago about how the kids look like they're with their cousins parents or something, not like with, you know what I mean, they're acting like with
Mm.
like your friends. If my friends parents took me to Disney when I was a kid, it's not like your own parents or your own older siblings where you're like engaging with them. It's more like the picture of them going down the thing and it looked like Archie's hands were in his lap like this, and I'm like, what the
Yeah.
hell, what
Yeah.
the hell was that, like what was that?
and the body
Yeah.
language between Harry and Meghan so disengaged. You would
They
think
were
that
very
really
disengaged during a
kids.
Disney
You know how
video.
their brother and sister don't interact like George and Charlotte or even Louis? There's no
Mm.
interaction between those two children. It's like they're terrified. They remind me, I hate to say this, George. They kind of reminded me like, when you were terrified or something like that when you're in Greece, looking out the doors for people. Those kids don't look joyful like Meghan Markle loves to say
No,
that.
they don't.
They don't
But
look like
remember,
they go crazy. Maybe, and it's not the Latino because I've seen Nordic kids go to Disneyland and they go crazy.
of course, they're kids. It's Disneyland. I mean, how can you not go? How can you not be emotionally excited? Think about it. This all comes. That's why I like putting everything into, context is king. We're talking about a family. We had the same guy who got a ghostwriter to write Spare, where he shared the story about how they buried their miscarriage in a palm tree.
Yeah.
Do you know any place in the United States of America, let alone the world, where they're going to be
Under
like,
a banyan tree.
right, you miscarried, and we're going to allow you to take? It's not allowed.
You're not allowed to
That's
do
by a
that.
lot. Yeah, that's it's
But
not.
the thing is, that's why people think that Meghan and Harry are like not okay. Let me put it that way. And that
Nutcases.
they and
Mhm.
that it they enjoy a lot of powdered donuts and those sorts of substances, and that also they just copy things from movies, because in the movie The Help there was a girl who had multiple miscarriages and would bury the
Mm,
fetuses in the garden and
right,
plant roses on top of the
Hmm.
yeah, buried things. So, but that's a movie. Again, that's a movie.
right.
So
Yeah.
it's yeah, and also people are have been complaining for like an hour in the chat that there's like a TV on in the background or the radio. So yeah, they're
Oh
all kind
no, to me.
Is there
of.
something on?
I'm
Yeah,
just
I
yeah.
don't know.
Look
They
at the
keep
classy
mentioning it.
Duchess. Look at the classy Duchess, guys. I mean,
Yeah.
how can you
It,
not? But
it
I'm gonna say something, and I know you guys are gonna hate me for it. The
okay.
reason, like Harry and Meghan, continue to do this is because the person with the power to stop it is
Won't.
not doing anything.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. If King Charles,
That's
if we
true.
don't get something from Buckingham Palace within the next 14 days,
Mm-hmm.
it's just not going to happen until Prince William becomes king. He just, I mean, there are lines. Like I said, when you cross certain lines, it should have happened after the BBC interview. But this now makes a mockery because it attaches to them. Something should have come out. I mean, all he's got to do is come out. You know what? I get the signal from my son. I know this is a cry for help. He wants to be free, so I'm going to set him free. He's no, we cut all
Mm-hmm.
ties with him. I wish him good luck, long life, go away. He could
Mm-hmm.
do it. He could write it up with the courtiers to make it, polished. To me, I'd be like, look, I don't know who this nutcase is. I am even questioning if he's my kid. I'm very sorry. I don't know what's wrong. I loved him too much, and I realize that I've let down the country. I've let down the kingdom,
Right.
the Commonwealth nations. But no,
I
this is
can
not
This is,
imagine
this is one of the things I've
a lot
said. I said that Charles could have said, Harry, we've heard you repeatedly say that you hate. We have him on tape saying he doesn't like the United Kingdom. Even in the Harry and Meghan thing, he said that every time his plane was even landing, he would get palpitations. He doesn't want to be a prince. Then I repeatedly said in my channel, and you guys all heard me say that he should grant him his wish. You
right.
will now be known as Henry Charles Albert David Mountbatten Windsor, private citizen. Go live forward your life. And by the way, this is because people are still saying that it's Parliament that has to do something with the titles. And this is a petition that I show this for the thousandth times. The response directly from Parliament. This is Parliamentary UK Petitions Archive, and they gave their response. We can't publish petitions about honors and appointments, including asking for people to be given or have titles removed. In any case, the use of royal titles are a matter for Her Majesty. Well, in that time the Queen was alive, for Her Majesty the Queen, and not the government or Parliament.
hmm
Right. He can
So,
take away the HRH instantly. That's granted by the crown. Their
and the Duke, and
styles.
the Duke, he can take any. He can take
Correct.
any.
But he's
He can
not
take
going. He's
Prince,
coward.
everything titles. That
Right.
doesn't remove him from the line of succession.
No, you can't. That's
From the line of
constitutional.
succession, it does require a bill amendment or succession amendment, an amendment to the Succession Act
Right.
specifically,
hmm
which I've
Right.
always advocated for this. Why don't they change it that only royals residing permanently in the United Kingdom and born in the United Kingdom can be in the line of succession? That is an incentive for them to be born there and to reside there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's wrong with that? That would remove immediately Harry and his kids.
right, but I think it should be done. That's not going to happen. But the king needs to act. There are certain times I know the whole thing be silent, but there are times when you need to take action because this now looks bad on the royal family. It just does by taking no action. I know we have a whole world of trouble going on, but part of getting through problems, it's like not many people realize truth equals is what leads to hope, and that leads to optimism. When you live in a land of lies and everybody's promoting a delusion, you kill hope and optimism. There are times when you have to draw a line in the sand, say this is how it is, this is how the cow ate the cabbage, this is the truth, just to raise people's morale, to keep hope alive, to keep people focused on problems, to solve them, to move forward with optimism. This is why the king must act, and if he doesn't, then we're going to have to wait till King William.
That is
Yeah.
interesting because people are being disenchanted.
Yo,
This is
guys,
what people don't
I'm sorry,
understand.
but
People are disenchanted with this, George. It's not just
yeah.
wait until there might be no William. There might be that people are fed up with this.
I know.
This is not even, forget the little dance. There's the questions of the birth certificates, the legality of that birth certificate. No, in the United States, it is law that the names of the parents are the names of the parents. They cannot use titles for the names of the parents. And yet, Harry, you can use it. You can put it in profession. For example, Harry could have put Prince of the United Kingdom. Meghan could have put Princess of the United Kingdom, like they did with Archie's birth certificate. That Meghan Markle had it amended to include and put as her profession the Princess of the United Kingdom.
Just take them off of the website. Start with that. Take them off of the website and move forward one step at a time.
That'd be a good start right there.
But they don't
Toomey
do
was
that.
getting ready to say
No,
something.
yeah,
What were you
guys,
gonna
I was
say,
gonna
Toomey?
say I have to go. My phone is dying. But thank you
Okay.
for having me
Okay.
on. And also in the chat, I left my ebook link. You guys can buy my book, Capturing the Crown. My ebook, it's only $5. And
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
that's all.
I'll have to do that. Thank you,
Okay.
Toomey,
Thank
for
you
being
guys.
here.
Pleasure to meet you.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
like I was looking at this, like for example, you have the royal family members. You know, like what do they do? Um, and it's like basically they still have them there, and they're promoting their website. You know, like their
Yeah, they
commercial
have
website.
links to their website. Yeah, and that's what I don't understand. I mean, start with the small things. Just start taking them. Like, first of all, don't promote any of their commercial ventures, and then take them off the website. Like, slowly start just getting them away and detached from the monarchy. I mean, I can imagine that the people aren't the people like saying to the king, do something? Is it just us on social media? I mean, what are the people of Great Britain saying? Are they outraged by all of this to want the king to act?
Well, when you take a look at the polling that was done by YouGov and other polls, they have dropped so low. I think they're a point above Andrew, and the public is exhausted with him. Especially, in it's like in a marriage or in any relationship. What tests that the most? When you have outside problems, whether they be financial, it starts putting pressure where you see all the cracks come in. Well, with the financial crisis that's been going on around the world, with all the problems that
Hmm.
are going on in the UK, where you don't have free speech, you can't act,
Yeah,
the blasphemy laws are trying to pass, it puts cracks. It exposes all the cracks where they are, and you have to
yeah,
address those. So people are like, wait a minute, we're suffering all this, and this moron is out here mocking us.
right. Yeah,
And you want to
exactly.
challenge that immediately.
Yeah, yeah. It's
You can
it's
see there.
it's
You can see there
unbelievable.
how they're promoting them. I mean, they have everything, and they're saying information about the current work of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex can be found on their official website. That's not an official website. That's a commercial website. But because the royal family is saying it is very misleading, because why are they putting a commercial website there
Right. Well,
of
that's
disgruntled former employees? Would you have that, George, in your business?
No, no, not at all. No, especially with it. No, not at all. It wouldn't happen. Wouldn't happen.
right. It
It's
doesn't
not
make
how
sense.
you hit that point, Padina. It's like,
Hmm.
show me who your friends are, and I'll show you who you are. Well, you have a family that has a family member who's shown that has no character, no class, no culture, and no bottom. It seems like everything is up for grabs. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't. Obviously, I doubt this is going to happen because they have money, but I wouldn't be surprised if Megan didn't open an OnlyFans with Harry and they're just like jiggling around. I mean, what else?
Yeah.
What else is left?
No, don't put it out. I mean, I
No,
don't
no,
don't
no. But,
rule it
but
out.
what else is left? Think about
Yeah.
it.
Uh,
How much further can they sink? The
yeah.
way she's acting there, I don't know who said it, but they said it perfectly. It was on, I don't know if it was on Talk TV or it was someone, I don't know if it was Schofield. Someone said the way that she is behaving in that video is exactly like someone giving a blowjob on 90210 on an episode. I mean, you're talking
Yeah.
about, I was
Yeah.
watching and I'm like, she looks like she's in a Spirit of Halloween costume, gyrating like she's trying to summon demons on a dance floor. While you got this moon bump, while you got a moon bump is doing the Macarena like it's trying to break its contact and escape. It
She
just
trying
doesn't,
to summon some demons.
it just doesn't. It's just wow.
I had a very good conversation with one of my sons who said that, the Brooke Shields thing in the Southwest, Texas, that Brooke Shields just couldn't take it anymore. And
No.
she interrupted and says, like when you were 11, oh, I was playing a prostitute, right? And then somebody left in my comments, oh, when Brooke Shields was 11, she was playing Megan as a grown up, a prostitute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so funny. But we're gonna
Yeah.
get going. But go watch George's Woke monologues. And please go subscribe to Pidani if you're in my channel. Go subscribe to George's channel. At the end of here, I will leave. I've always want to leave that George Woke monologue because that is why we have Megan. And this is if once you watch it, you will understand why Megan happens. I kid
Mhm.
you not. People like Blake Lively, Megan, Juicy Smollett, like by the way, we have to talk about that some other time. But
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it is like you will see the reason why society is the way it is right now. Why there is this billionaire victim narrowhood,
Mhm.
the movement, which I'm against. I mean, I am. It is. You have to go watch it. I will leave the video so you guys can watch it. So I want to thank you all for coming. Please go subscribe to everybody. And George,
Mhm.
as usual, you're amazing. And
thank you
Pete, I
so
now will. You're my wing woman. But
Thank you.
thank you so very
Thanks
much.
for
And
all the super stickers and chats too.
Bye bye.
go subscribe to
Bye bye.
everybody.
Bye George. Bye
Bye bye.
Paula.
Great to see you.
Nice to see you.
Lindo.